How many people can planet Earth sustainably support? Is it less than 10 billion, as many believe? Or is it more than 1 trillion, as we believe? One thing is certain: the answer will affect the quality of all our lives. So let's make our case.
In previous videos, we have made the assertion that planet Earth can sustainably support over 1 trillion people, and it must if we are to survive another 1,000 years as a species. So how do we come to this conclusion when almost all other demographers estimate that we have already reached the limit? The first clue is to consider that the majority of demographers have always believed that human carrying capacity has been reached. For thousands of years, people have believed the planet is full of people, and they have always been completely wrong. The reason they are always wrong is because demographers tend to assume that technology will stay as it is, which of course is a silly assumption. A simple truth is that the rate of population growth is proportional to state of technological advancement. Another simple truth is that technological innovation is proportional to population size. I'll spare you the math, but it turns out that human population growth is faster than exponential. It tends toward hyperbolic. This means that without constraints, the human population reaches infinity at a finite date. This date is 2060. Of course, this is not going to happen. And there is going to be a sharp pullback in the human population over the 21st century. It will take many decades for the abundance mindset kingdom farm holy system to become established as a competing paradigm to the scarcity mindset wicked system. But when it does, the human population will resume hyperbolic growth for 1,000 years into the trillions on Earth and beyond, into the solar system, and this will feel like paradise for those lucky enough to have survived the inevitable tribulation that we are now entering. Let's take a look at the numbers from a purely material perspective. We know that the mass of a human body is composed of 58 kilograms of water, 13 kilograms of carbon, 2 kilograms of nitrogen, 1 kilogram of calcium, 700 grams of phosphorus, and minor amounts of other chemicals. We also know how much of these chemicals are available within Earth's crust and atmosphere. It turns out that there is enough carbon to support the composition of 460 trillion average adult human bodies. There is enough water and other elements to support many thousands of trillions of humans. To reach 1 trillion humans on Earth, clearly a lack of chemicals is not a factor. But what about food production? The main theme within the Kingdom Farm concept is to use technology to smash through the hugely limiting single-plane farming paradigm. It turns out that expanding vertical farming to sustainably feed 1 trillion people relies mainly on a significant increase in electrical energy production. Even without automation, there would not be a shortage of labor due to the population increase, and there would not be a shortage of space either. By recycling, there would not be a shortage of water or any other recyclable resource. The big issue is energy. The potential for geothermal anywhere energy eclipses all other sources of energy combined by orders of magnitude. Nuclear fusion could compete, but it has always been 15 years away from fruition, and besides, it is thousands of times more technologically difficult than geothermal anywhere, which is technologically available right now in 2024. The Earth is like a giant thermal battery waiting to be tapped if only we possess the political will to do so. Assuming today's average use, there is theoretically enough geothermal energy to sustain 1 trillion people on Earth for 10 billion years. Only a fraction of it could be used, perhaps 0.1%. But even so, there is certainly enough for our 1,000-year target. The last barrier consideration is space. It turns out that there is something like a square kilometre of surface area for every dozen or so of our 1 trillion people. Considering that by the time there are 1 trillion people, kingdom farms will each be large city-states with potentially millions of people living within a square kilometre. Clearly, space is not an issue either. Given how technologically straightforward it is to grow our population to 1 trillion people or more here on Earth, why is this sort of idea likely to get banned? It is because the delusional scarcity mindset is in total control of the world.
Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. No pollution, no waste, no carbon footprint, and a rewilding of Earth's nature. Imagine no bills and no worries. So what's not to like? Can you imagine no money? Without money, Satan has no power. Thanks for watching and see you next time. X.